What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Case Digital. My name is Zach, and we are going to answer that question of how to play a video in Python using OpenCV specifically. So, without further ado, let's hop right in and start coding. So the first thing that we need to do is basically set up a virtual environment. This is what I highly recommend on all the projects that you do. You can see right here that I have mine activated, so you'll need to set that up. And then once you have, if you don't have or know what a virtual environment is, you can check out this video right here, and it'll teach you exactly how to go through and set it up. But if you have one, go ahead and activate it. If you don't want to use one, you just want to use your computer's Python system, essentially, we can start with that. And then what we'll need to do is install OpenCV to go ahead and run that. So to do that, all you're going to do is do pip install python-opencv. And this may be the wrong order. I always mix these up. But yeah, that was the wrong order. So it's going to be opencv-python, opencv-python. And just like that, you can see that I already have it installed. I use this. So once it's installed, what you'll come down here to your script is you'll go up and say import, and then we'll say CV2. And just like that, we now have the OpenCV packages that we need to go ahead and read in this video file. Now, this is the video file that I'm starting with. It's just one of my other YouTube shorts that I have it's a 40-second short, so that I figured, hey, this will be easy to read. So once we have this, now we need to start using the OpenCV package. And to use the OpenCV package, essentially what we want to do is use their video capture package. So we're going to say CV2, or I'm going to say cap is going to be equal to CV2.video capture. Now, video capture can take in multiple things, but all we're going to pass into it is just the path of the video, so our video path variable. And then from there, we can do a couple things, right? So one thing is probably good to do is to check if the video capture is open, and if not, throw an error, right? Because if it's not able to be open, then we don't want to try and continue through the rest of the program. So to do that, you do something like if not, if not cap dot is opened, then what you do here is essentially just say we can either exit, or we can, like in this case, I'll raise an exception. And you can, there's a bunch of different exceptions. I'm just gonna go with the general exception and just say error, and then say file or video cannot be opened. Video could not be opened. And now just raise an error and it'll exit the program for us, right? But ideally it should be open. And then if it is, all I'm going to do is there's a couple options to do this. You can use this and basically say, well, while the video is still opened, loop through the thing, or loop through getting each frame and playing your video. Or you can take the approach of doing like an infinite loop type approach, where the information that you read off, because when you do video capture, when you read a frame, it also comes with a flag, and that flag tells you whether it was a good read or not. And if it was a good read, you're going to get the actual video frame, and if it was a bad read, you're not going to get anything. And so usually the approach that I've seen is like if it's a solid video, if it gets a bad flag, and meaning the frame's not going to be there, it's usually because you hit the end of the file. And not necessarily that there was something wrong with it. Now it could be, but we're gonna go with that assumption, right? So if we go with that assumption, we're gonna say while true, we're gonna say success and frame are going to be equal to cap.read, right? And that's what return when you do cap.read. Now here, if it is a bad frame, essentially we could say like if not success, then break, meaning this will break us out of the loop. Otherwise, if it's a success, we want to just continue on, and we want to say cv2.IamShow, and then we want to say this is a frame, and this is the actual frame object, okay? And now typically to get these to show up right and to catch, user input and stuff like that, and to give you a little bit of delay, so that way you can actually see the image. What we do is, or what I've seen done conventionally, is just doing something if cv2.wait key, and then you pass in a 1. So if you pass in a 0, this will just wait until there's a keyboard interaction. If you pass in a number, it's going to be the delay in milliseconds. So this is going to wait 1 millisecond. And then we're going to do some bitwise operations on it, where we're going to do that with this hex value of 0ff, and we're going to compare that all this is equal to this character of Q. So what does this mean? So this is basically going to wait a millisecond and compare that if there's any key or a key event that happens, now that event is basically the letter Q. If the letter Q is clicked or pressed, what will happen is we want to actually break out of this, right? Meaning we're done viewing it, we're done. And so this will give us time so we can view our image frame. And then this whole thing combined basically allows us so that way it can check for key events for whether or not a person is saying, hey, I don't want to exit the video, I'm done, right? And then, like all good stewards in programming, when you're done using something, you should clean it up. And so basically we're going to say cap.release, and then this will just release the usage of the video. And then we'll say cv2.destroy all windows, and then this will just clean up any active windows. So if all this is good and we've done this correctly, when we go and hit run down here, you'll see that will pop up the video and you'll start seeing some code being written. Because it's a video about me writing code. And so just like that, hey, there's the short where I said be careful about comparing floats. But you'll notice here that there's nothing in here about audio. Yeah, that's right. So video capture will only do the actual video and the image frames and nothing with audio. And that's because it's just meant to read in video or the video images frames and not necessarily have to do with the audio stuff. So now if I hit Q, you'll see that that goes away. And just like that, you can now play a video in Python using OpenCV. Again, with the caveat of it's not going to have the audio, it's just going to be the individual frames. And now from here, you can do a lot of different things where you could use, machine learning techniques to do object detection. You could do stuff where you could save out frames to turn a video from a video to a set of just still images. All sorts of things, right? So this is basically the setup. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. And until next time, keep on programming.